Topic 6.3 Solubility Rules for Predicting Products for Double Replacement Reactions. Okay, first we will familiarize with the solubility rules. Okay, so solubility rules has two boxes. First box says everything listed here will be what? Soluble. And if they are connected to with anything on the right hand side, that will be insoluble. And if you didn't see a compound in your list, then you have to assume that is insoluble. Say for example, all group 1. If you don't know what is group 1, it is lithium, sodium, potassium. So including hydrogen, okay, hydrogen, lithium, sodium, potassium, they are called alkali metal. Whenever you see them, they are all soluble. There is no restriction here. That means everything is soluble. They are completely soluble. Also, if you see a cation, ammonium, the same thing. There is no restriction. Every ammonium compounds are soluble. Every acetate, every chlorate, chloride, perchlorate, chloride, everything are soluble. And nitrate is also soluble. Comes to 17th group. They are called halides. Example, fluorine, chlorine, bromine, iodine. Some of them are insoluble. If, say for example, if they are connected to silver, so silver chloride or silver bromide or silver iodide or mercury or lead, they will be what? Insoluble. Every else will be soluble. Everything else will be soluble. If you see any of these three metals connected to the halogens, they are insoluble. That is a restriction. Same thing for sulfate. If they are connected to any of these metals like calcium sulfate, strontium sulfate, barium sulfate, silver sulfate, mercury sulfate, lead sulfate, they will be what? Insoluble. Okay, so let's familiarize the terminology. So quick review, double replacement means two compounds, you will get always aqueous solution. When you mix two clear solution, you will get a solid substance which is called precipitate. So definition, soluble means a substance that can be dissolved in a solvent. Most of the time we are using water. And if it is soluble, when you write them, you have to write a subscript AQ. AQ meaning aqueous, which is soluble in water. Then if it is opposite, something when you add it to water, if they are still remains as a solid, it is called insoluble. They are not soluble in a solvent. But during a chemical reaction, say like this, you are mixing two aqueous solution, two clear solution, and you are getting a precipitate from a reaction. You are getting a solid from a reaction. That is called precipitate. So that is a terminology used only in chemistry. It's not something related to precipitation in normal world, okay? It is called a precipitate. Is a solid formed from a chemical reaction, which is indicated by S, or also since it is a solid, we will use a down arrow to represent that. You have to use either of this on your test. So let's practice how to decide, how to find whether it is soluble or not. So here you can see a compound calcium phosphate. I would always check the first one, whether it is a group 1 metal. No, calcium is a group 2. It is not ammonium. So then I will check for the anion. It is phosphate. And when I go through this list, I am not seeing a phosphate there. So you have to assume If you are not seeing both of them there, you have to assume that is an insoluble substance. Okay, let's do the next one. It says potassium chloride. Potassium is group 1, okay? So all alkali metals, group 1s are soluble. You don't need to check the other ones because there is no restriction for group 1. All group 1 compounds are soluble. Second one is cadmium. Check cadmium. We know that that is not included there. And sulfide is also not included there. So you have to assume you didn't see that there in the list. So that will be insoluble. Next one, cobalt. We didn't see cobalt. Then look for nitrate. Yes, there is nitrate and all nitrates are soluble. So it is soluble. And next one is silver chloride. So chloride is a halide. When it is connected to silver, look at this one. That will be a solid. It is insoluble. So when you are getting that in a reaction, insoluble you represent with S and soluble you will represent with what? A Q. Okay, soluble, don't write soluble S. You will have a tendency to write that because both are starting with the same letter. So no, insoluble will be solid. S means solid, not soluble. Now let's apply that into the reaction. So on your test, you have to predict products using this strategy. Okay, let's go ahead and start that. Okay, let me select another column. Okay, so here first you are doing what? You are swapping the ions. Okay, remember, always cations, which is a positive ion, which always comes at the first of the compound, can replace only cations. Okay, so here you are going to swap these two metals. That is, zinc will go with the chlorine and strontium will go with the sulfate. Okay, that is the first step. Okay, zinc is trying to replace which metal? Strontium. I would prefer don't do this because that may make confusion of some of you. We need to know only one of that. Okay. Now I'm going to swapping this. Zinc is swapping with the chlorine. Okay. When you write the compound, you are not using the same subscript. You are using the charges. Okay. We know that zinc is 2 and chlorine 1. So when you crisscross it, you will get zinc chloride. And strontium 2, sulfate is 2. So you need 1 each, which is SrSO4. Okay. So now we have to decide which product is soluble. Okay, zinc chloride, look at that. Okay, chlorine, when it is connected to zinc, there is no zinc listed there. So zinc chloride is soluble. So I'm going to write zinc chloride is soluble. So I'll write AQ here. And strontium sulfate, let's go see that. Sulfate is here and it is connected to strontium, will become insoluble. So strontium sulfate is insoluble. So you are going to write yes. That means you got a solid substance. That is, the rule says, if there is a precipitate, that is a reaction. If there is no precipitate, that will be what? No reaction. So this reaction will, yes, that will happen. Now you have to check whether the equation is balanced or not. Since both of them are 2, 2, I think that is balanced. Okay, let's do the next one. This time we are seeing sodium sulfate and potassium chloride. Okay, sodium is trying to replace potassium and I am not answering that. Which product is soluble? Let's see, swap them. Okay, sodium will go with the chlorine. Sodium has a charge of 1, chlorine has a charge of 1. When you crisscross it, you will get NaCl. Potassium go with sulfate. Potassium has a charge of 1, sulfate has a charge of if I can write that, if anyone needs that. So it is like crisscrossing, okay? So you need 2 potassium and 1 sulfate. So which product is soluble? So I'm going to check the solubility chart. This is sodium group 1. This is potassium group 1. So I realize that both of them are what? They are both soluble because both are group 1 compound. Which product is insoluble? There is none because both of them are soluble. That means this reaction will never take place. So you are going to write it is a no. So I'm going to write AQ here. But on your test, you just need to cross this out. You can just write what? NR. I would always realize that from this itself, even though we swap them, you will get both of them are group 1. That will end up in a no reaction. Okay, let's do one more. Then we'll do one practice, okay? It says aluminum is going to replace what? Sodium. I'm not answering this because it's the same thing, okay? Which product is soluble? Let's try that. Aluminum will go with the carbonate. So aluminum has a charge of 3. Carbonate has a charge of 2. So you need 2 aluminum and how many carbonate? 3 carbonate. And sodium has a charge of 1. Chlorine has a charge of 1. So it is NaCl. Okay, let's see. When you look at NaCl, we know that it is AQ because that is the group 1 metal there. And aluminum carbonate, okay? Aluminum is not here in this chart and carbonate is also not here. So we are assuming that is a solid. So you are going to write Al2CO3 thrice is an insoluble substance. So since there is a precipitate, this is a precipitate, so this reaction will take place. Okay, that is a notes. And I'm gonna do one of the practice, then rest you are going to finish it. I'm gonna do one word equation, okay? It says lithium nitrate. Okay, lithium has a charge of 1, nitrate has a charge of 1. So formula will be LiNO3. And all the given will be aqueous for double replacement. Or you can check with your formula sheet, okay? Sodium is +1, chlorate is -1. So formula will be NaClO3 and that will be also AQ. And you are swapping them, and this, since both of them are first group metal, if you swap them, that will end up in a soluble product. If you want, I can write it. It will be sodium nitrate plus lithium chlorate. When you check them, both are AQ. So I'm going to cross this out because it will never happen, and I'll write NR there. This is how you're doing it. Okay, yeah, I will do one more because that was a no reaction. Okay, the second one is ammonium carbonate. Ammonium is NH4 twice CO3. Carbonate has a charge of 2. AQ plus zinc chloride is ZnCl2, which is also AQ, and you are swapping them. So zinc will go with carbonate and ammonium will go with the chloride. And when you check, ammonium chloride is AQ and this is solid. That means this is a reaction because we got a solid precipitate here. Since it is a reaction, you are responsible for balancing that. There are 2 ammonium here, so I'm going to multiply this with the 2. And 2 chlorine, that is balanced now. Okay, that's it.